Is it just me, or over the past few seasons, has it seemed like there's always a point guard in the league today who takes a substantial leap in their game from the season they had prior? For example, back in the 2019-2020 season, Trae Young elevated his game to the next level and truly became Ice Trae, as we all know him today. During that season, he increased his points per game average by a whole 10.5 points per game. This man was basically a few hairs off from averaging 30. The 2020-2021 season was the season De'Aaron Fox broke out to me. I know he's having the best season of his career this season. During that 21 season, that's when he started to look like he was finally starting to put it all together. He had his best statistical season that season too. He averaged the most points per game of his career and the second most assists per game of his career. Had it not been for the 2020-2021 season, I don't think we'd be seeing the same swiper that we're seeing today. Last season, in the 2021-22 season, we all saw that Terry John Morant was on during the regular season and even all the way into the playoffs, basically becoming must-see TV because he was bound to make a SportsCenter top 10 highlight play on any given night. His scoring average per game increased by a whole 8 points per, becoming one of the premier players in the game today, while at the same time letting it be known and sending a message to the entire NBA that he's him. And now here we are at the 2022-23 season. This season without question has been Shai's year. How could it not? The man has been absolutely ridiculous this season, going from averaging 24.5 points per last season to 31.5 points per this season, becoming a top 5 scorer in the NBA today, while also quietly stepping up his game on the defensive end too, cracking the top 5 in steal, as well as becoming the only guard in the game today to make the top 25 in block, showcasing his ability to play on both ends of the court and quietly becoming a two-way player. This man went from being top 25, under 25 to easily one of the top 25 players in the game today. That might even actually be an understatement. Listen, I knew SGA was going to be nice early on from his days when he was a rook with the Clippers, but bruh, I had no idea, and I don't think any of us seen this coming, and him actually being this damn good. Before we get back to the video, man, just real quick, be sure to drop a thumbs up on this video if you're feeling it. Hit that subscribe button, it helps the channel out a ton, and even turn on post notifications to know when we drop videos over here on Self-Check. Let's get back to the video. A wise man once said, Monday to Sunday, every day is Tuesday. That wise man was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. On almost any day of the week, SGA is likely to drop a quick 30 piece on your favorite team. The only player had an SGA in terms of 30-point games this season is no one. It's just him at the top. SGA's 30 pieces are a unique kind of 30. Now for starters, let me get this out the way now because I can hear y'all in the comments. But here, free throw merchant and whatever, and a lot of his points come from the free throw line. Yeah, so what? The same thing goes for the other top 5 30 points per game scorers in the NBA today. You don't average 30 without getting a few easy ones from the stripe here and there. Shai's ability to average 31.5 without even knocking down a single three-pointer per game is actually wild. With the volume of threes that's being put up per game in the league today, you would think it's almost impossible to average 31 without at least connecting on one per game. Averaging 31 without a three-pointer made per game is something we've rarely seen. Over the last 30 years, it's actually only been done by only 2 players, and it's also being done this season by another player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I guess Shai prefers his threes the old-fashioned way. At least it appears that way. SGA leads the league and drives to the cup per game at a staggering 24 times a night. It's not even like Shai possesses crazy athleticism either. It's not like he's uber explosive like a Ja. He's not slow like a Luka. He's just right in the middle at this nice, steady, controlled pace. He's just very deceptive and clever at making his moves, and he knows when to attack when he sees an opening. Because of that sneaky athleticism though, defenders always have to be on their toes and watch their heads because they never know when they might get punched on. If a defender does shut off SGA's drives to the bucket, that actually plays into Shai's strength because he has no problem getting busy in the mid-range. That's where primarily most of his damage is done anyway. When you think about some of the best media magicians in the game today, who comes to mind? KD, Book, DeMar, Brandon Ingram, De'Aaron Fox. Shai is right up there with them all, among the best in the game in the mid-range. They can go deep in his depth when it comes to the mid-range. He can go left elbow, right elbow, baseline fades, you name it. Shai got it. What's even more impressive is Shai doesn't shoot too many threes. I think he's taken around 160 of them on the season. I think he's drilled about 57 out of those. Now don't let this fool you into thinking Shai is a bad three-point shooter though. I think this just showed that Shai knows where his bread is buttered and that dudes can't check him. So there's really no point in taking a whole bunch of volume threes. Plus, all that matters is he hitting them when the team needs them? And the answer to that question is yes. Just off the top of my head, and I'll show you guys, out of those 57 threes, I'm pretty sure a handful of those were game winners or or at least daggers to seal the deal. Whether it be straight to the cup, in between the mid-range, or out beyond the arc, they can slice it however a defender wants it. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if in the near future we see SGA snag him a scoring title or two, because from anywhere on the court, it's a bucket. I know SGA had a hell of a year last season, but Shai's game is taking such a huge leap this season, he has to be the front runner for the most improved player award. I know Laurie and Brunson respectively both have had crazy seasons. Come to find out, those three are the finalists for the most improved player award. But Shai has led the charge for this Thunder team, helping turn OKC from just a young team on a opposing team's schedule to a team loaded with young talent that will send you home with an L if you take them lightly. Shai's individual improvement has translated directly into the team's improvement. Just for starters, on a basic level, SGA's percentages are all up across the board. Field goal percentage up 6%, 3-point percentage up 5%, free throw percentage up almost a whole 10%. The Thunder jumped from a 24-win team last season to a 39-team win this season. Those 15 extra games make a big difference in the standings, going from a bottom of the barrel team last season, sitting right in the play-in this season. Me personally, I'm not one for all these extra elaborate advanced math equations when it comes to talking basketball. It makes me feel like I'm back at school taking an AP class or something. Bro, I just want to talk hoops. Some of those are actually pretty useful when it comes to trying to measure how much a guy brings to the table for his team, like win shares. It's one of my favorite advanced stats because at the end of the day, it's all about winning. And win shares in a nutshell basically tells you how many wins a player solely by themselves, just based on their production, provides for their team. Shai is top 5 in the NBA when it comes to win shares with 11.4. Those 11 wins SGA has brought to the team this season are pretty much exactly what this team needed in order to go from the outside looking in to the play-in to right there in it, being able to compete for a playoff spot. When you look at the players at the top of the list in terms of win shares, Shai is up there with a couple MVP candidates and some all-stars. Just to put into perspective, last season SGA was nowhere near that high, and in years prior, it's pretty rare, or you just didn't see guys in the running for the most improved player that high on these advanced stats lists. Those stats and metrics are usually reserved for the MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year. Could be a sign that one day SGA might be hoisting up one of those trophies next. SGA has not only become better for his own individual success, but the team that he's leading as well. The Oklahoma City Thunder over the last decade and a half have almost been like a mass talent production factory of some sort, if you know what I mean. A lot of talent has been drafted to, or at least have had a stint with this team and has had success with them. This franchise has produced MVPs, future MVPs, 6 Men of the Years, All-Stars, future All-Stars, Hall of Famers, and just some damn good players overall you would want on your team, ranging from guys like Russ, KD, and Harden to guys like Paul George, and many other talented hoopers. For the foreseeable future, it's looking like the Oklahoma City Thunder found their next superstar leading the charge, and his name is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.